Hello, welcome Truck Stop Murder and True Crime Podcast. I am your host, Gary Howard, and hopefully y'all's day is going better than mine. I was on my way to my customer this morning, and I had parked at the Pony Express Travel Center in Marshall, Texas, which I'll get into about if you're a truck driver. Your car, you might be fine, but truck driver, I would just go ahead and avoid this place at all costs. But I'll get into that. But yeah, I woke up this morning to get my coffee, but I found out the place is closed, so I drove down the road some and pulled into this place. And right in the middle of the entryway, the driveway, there's a big pole sticking out. So guess who has two flat tires now? Me. And guess who's not gonna make their appointment at Sam's in Dayton, Texas? Me. Guess who's gonna be late getting home? Me, but I'll be home. So, but they're on their way to fix my tires right now. This is one of my Monday shorts. I'm hoping to do some Mondays. Like I said, I'm with my busy schedule. I do have times putting it on the regular schedule, but I'm really working hard to do that. I'm gonna try to do every 2 weeks for my full episodes on Wednesday. Even though my last episode was kind of short, about 45, but there's really, I could bore you with all kinds of more crazy details, but that was just pretty much the meat and potatoes of it all. But these Mondays is going to be kind of like a short, and I try to go on live on YouTube, but on YouTube you have to have 1,000 subscribers before you can go live on your mobile device, which I think is bullshit. But so until I get 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, Truck Stop Murder True Crime, I guess I will be going on Instagram. If you have an Instagram account, you can follow me at Truck Stop Murder and True Crime. And I go on Saturdays. I'm gonna start going live at noon, unless permitting that I can. So here you go. This is the one I did last. If you saw any of the videos that I posted on Instagram, now I do share them on my Facebook page as well. Now, if you like what you hear, please share on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everything. Just tell friends. Eventually I'll get to iTunes. But right now, let's just share this thing if you want to help me build this project to something big. But yep, back to the Pony Express. I don't know why. The reason why normally I avoid this place is probably the worst truck stop that I've seen in the whole United States. Pony Express Travel Center in Marshall, Texas, on exit 2217, exit 217, like down the road. 279 is fuel. It says it has 40 parking spots, but there's way more than that. But it's also looks like a war zone. It really, just craters all over the place, bombs, and just random obstacles all over the place. And you gotta be really careful because there's also a lot of areas where it's just mud pits. And there's pictures. If you go to all this information is from Trucker's Path, where you could just lose your tires in them. That's how bad this place is. The only thing I've seen, I'll get into reviews, is there's Indian restaurant there that has a 4.5 rating. It's got to be better than the first time I've been here. They had a little diner where I ordered a club sandwich, and a woman just hunked off a big chunk of ham, big half of a tomato, and a slice of lettuce, and put it on bread, which by the time I got it was soggy, and they called that a club sandwich. Ridiculous. But yeah, here we go. If you find yourself there, Taste of India restaurant and this Pumpkin Pantry, which is down the road. They have a little bit of food here. This is where I'm actually at right now, but it's not a truck stop. I was pulling into, but there's truck parking. And when I did get a flat tire, I went in there to talk about them, and they said that's not our property. Nothing I could do. Oh well. There's also a McDonald's within a quarter mile and an IHOP. That's all within a quarter mile of this place. Now let's go to reviews. And I'm tell you what, most part most part a lot of these reviews I say people are crying, but these are actual. I was just there last night, and I've been there before, and I do avoid this place like the plague, and the worst. But let's see. Air Force One, that's his name, says not sure where they get 40 spaces, more like 5 if that, which is true. I mean, it's a big parking lot, but there's only a few places you could park because it's so bad. Okay, another guy, Jesse Moreno. Okay, I know gave a previous review, but after being here several days, stuck because of the winter storm, of February 2021. I'm spinning another review. Food is great. See, food's great. Spicy. I like spicy food. Not too many things on the shelves, but they have the necessities that you need, which is true. The shelves, but yeah, I mean, they do have beer there, but their selection is far and few. Another two-star review. Avoid this place at all costs. Absolutely the shittiest place ever, and that is far from exaggeration. Amen to that, brother. He's right. Luck Nut says a real dump. The parking lot is a minefield and is full of trash. Old mattresses, tires, garbage. The bathroom is gross. I wouldn't even wash my hands. No soap, no toilet paper. Filthy. The people are rude. Well, with that being said, the people was nice when I went in there. I didn't go in the bathroom, so I can't comment on that. But the parking lot on point. 1 star review because the place. Let me see. 1 star because it's a place to park. Drive slow. Coming through here. Watch where you drive. Some areas are muddy and prone to getting stuck. Like I said, this guy gave a 4 star review. Parking is a dirt lot. Nothing fancy. Stores decent. Restaurant. Oh my God. If you like spicy food, then this is the place to eat food. 1 star review. Huge dirt mud lot. My dumb ass got stuck last night. Had to be pulled out. This whole lot is a nightmare. You could take the chances with it, but I would definitely won't go back. Another 1 star reverse truck stop I've ever seen in my 4 years of trucking. The night cashier is crazy and massive craters. The night cashier is crazy, massive. Yeah. And I'll do a couple more. Open 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Yeah, so that's why I wasn't able to get coffee this morning. I found myself here with two flat tires. But one more. One of the dirtiest truck stops and restrooms. Plus, they will cheat you out on fuel. They will charge you differently by what is being posted. Beware, truckers. Yep. And like I said, normally I say people are whining and complaining about things, but have you seen the majority of them are talking about the parking lot, which the parking lot is. I think the only place I've been to that might be worse is up in, I think it's um Marion, Arkansas, which is a pretty bad, but nowhere like this. As soon as you come off of 40, where 40 and 55 meet in West Memphis, and you go north on 55, there's a truck stop right on the east side, pretty much right when you pass that rest area. I mean, truck parking area. Now that place is pretty bad. They have a lot of craters, but you can get around it kind of okay. This place right here, it is a nightmare to park. And like I said, the only reason why I stopped there yesterday because I know I had to deliver tomorrow morning. I wanted to max out my clock, and that's just where I could park. But anyhow, like I said, this was the short I did on my Instagram page, and I shared on my Facebook. But Dean Corll, like I said, if you want, and I said it then, if you want more information about this, head on over to TimeSuck with Dan Cummings. He did a pretty in depth, more about it than I'm about to cover. I'm just doing a little short. But episode 101, The Candyman Killer, Houston's Nightmare, he goes over more detailed. I'll go over some, but like I said, this is my short. I might cover it, but I don't think I'll cover the full. I think this is probably pretty much it. But let's talk about Dean Corll. Dean Arnold Corll was born December 24th, 1939, was an American serial killer, was who abducted, raped, tortured, and murdered at least 28 teenagers, boys, and young men between 1970 and 1973 in Houston. He was aided by two teenager accomplices, David Owen Brooks and Elmer Wayne Henley. The crimes became known as the Houston mass murders. Came too lightly after Henley. Came too light after Henley finally came to. Well, I'm not gonna go there. Let's just go to the story. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm telling you, and you stop listening at the beginning. But pretty much, he grew up, and when he was a teenager, he learned that he was a homosexual, and of course, his mom did not agree with that. They had opened a candy shop, so what he would do is kind of lure kids with candy. He was also known as the Pied Piper. But during this time, yeah, like I said, he did a lot of killings. But how did Dean Corll get away with his crimes as long as he did? Was it simple for him just to fall through the cracks for as long as he did? Not like today, everyone's not as leery as the predator as they are today. No one thought about anything of a guy offering kids rides home or offering them candy. Some folks did think something strange about this, but in 1960s Houston, it was not out of the norm and just was blended in. And keep in mind, a lot of times these kids they would just reported when they reported missing, that the police would just kind of ignore it and say they're just a runaway. They'll tag it down. Another boy ran away, and this would continue on until future events. So when Dean was 27, he met 12-year-old David Brooke, and the two became close friends, and no one thought anything wrong of this. And of course, he was a loner. His parents was, divorced separating at the time, so he was looking for something, you know, like a father figure. But things was not as they seemed. David saw Dean as a father figure, a friend that he could go to for companionship, money, or just a place to stay when he needed. But Dean wanted more, and more was in a sexual way. He wanted sex from this boy, but not wanting to lose the only friend he had at the time and lose any hope what he thought was a stable life. He went ahead and gave in. When David parents divorced, David spent half the time in Beaumont and half the time with split parents, but always came back to visit Dean. And one of these times he visited unannounced, found Dean is selling two young boys that he had strapped up to his bed. I also heard that these two boys was strapped up to like a torture board that he had created, like a piece of plywood that he put two holes in where they'll tie the arms and hands in and feet. When Dean saw Davis, he yelled at him, "What are you doing here?" Of course, David just turned. He did one of those U-turns. David just turned around and walked away. Later, Dean told him that he was involved in making of gay porn, and that the two that he saw went back to California. But later, because how close he felt to David, of course, also how much control he felt he had over him, he told him the truth, stating he raped and killed the two boys and buried them in his boat storage unit. So instead of bad issues, he saw this as an opportunity. Bad issue, with a witness, he saw this as an opportunity. So he bought David a green Corvette and offered him $200 for every boy he brought in. That's over $1,200 in today's money, a lot of money. And because out of fear, probably of being a victim himself, he agreed. They would offer young men, or let's say kids, a ride in their car, either be the vet or Dean's white van, with hopes of a good time with drugs and alcohol. They would take him back to Dean's place and bind them using his bed, or like I said, a piece of 2-inch plywood that they cut holes in to bind their limbs. And then they will torture, rape them, often for days, showing no mercy before murdering them. And the more Dean liked them, the more he would keep them alive around. Getting rid of the bodies and went looking for more to feed their sick appetite, but mainly Dean, I believe, David was just in fear, not doing anything. He would bring, which is just as guilty. I'm not taking nothing away, guilt away from him, but we don't know if it was fear. Let's keep in mind, remember, he was also a 12-year-old boy, very influential. I can't say that, but you hear, But the methods that he did torture these kids the methods were biting off genitals, which one time, and putting glass rods in the urethra and breaking it, ending their life by shooting them in different places on the body, not to kill them, but to let them bleed out. But mainly, he liked to strangle them to be able to watch their life leave them. It gave him power. So one of the guys he brought in to Dean as the David that brought in to Dean as a victim within 7 murders. There were 7 murders into this. I don't know why I'm having trouble talking. I'm frustrated. It's not even a long day. As soon as I started my day, I blew the tires. It was Elmer Wayne Henley. I'm gonna call him Elmer. A lot of people call him Wayne, but fuck this asshole. I'm gonna call him Elmer. But Dean really liked this guy and decided to expand his operation, offering him the same thing. He didn't buy him a vet, but he offered him $200 per kid by first saying it was for gay pornography, but would later start asking for kids as well. But like David, he followed suit even after the murder started. The three continued the line of sales for the next 2 years, leading up to over 2 dozen murders in the Houston, Pasadena area. Now, during this time, Elmer would actually participate in it. And I really don't think, I'll get into it later, that David Brooks was really not, I think he was just there for the ride and for the money and also for the companionship. Nothing, but Elmer, on the other hand, I think he's the one, well, and let's get into it then. Until the night of August 8th, 1973, Elmer brought home Timothy Curley and Rhonda Williams, a woman. This was not like the other times. Just was going to a party, but after Dean was not happy with that. He pulled him aside, pulled Elmer aside, and was like, "What the hell, dude?" I could hear the conversation go, "What the hell, dude? A woman? I told you this is. How can you have a sausage fetch when you're bringing a sushi bar over? Now, come on. No, no, pussy. Only clean wings, dirty wings, or whatever." But anyhow, after he finally calmed them down, and they continued partying. What now? Huffing gas, smoking weed, is drinking. But after a while, they all passed out, including huffing paint. Like I said, Elmer woke up to find himself handcuffed, with the other two handcuffed as well. And Dean said, "Fine, you want to bring over women?" So he said, "I want to rape you. I'll rape." He undid the handcuffs. He says, "I'm gonna go ahead and rape Timmy, while you go ahead and rape Rhonda, and kill them and dispose of the body as normal." But this time, it did not go as normal. Once he got handcuffed, so they finished trying, tying Dean, started the sexual assault Timothy. Dean got all naked and started assaulting Timothy, but instead, this time, Elmer grabbed the 22 caliber and pointed at Dean and told him, "You've gone too far, Dean." At this point, he stopped assaulting Brian. Mainly continued saying, "I can't do this any longer. I can't have you kill all my friends." And no one really knows why Elmer snapped that one day. But yeah, while Dean's butt naked, everything, instead of raping, like I said, Rhonda, he snuck the gun from Dean, which he put down, and pointed him up, not believing that he was going to shoot him. And naked Dean, while walking towards him, taunted him the whole way, saying, "Kill me, Dean, kill me, kill me, kill me," also saying that he wouldn't do it. But he did shoot him. He did shot him 6 times in the torso, and the naked Dean Corll fell in the hallway, dead. Instead of leaving the scene, the two guests he brought over convinced him to call the police. When police arrived, he quickly confessed to all the murders he was involved in and the locations of the remains. He also implicated old David Brooks in it, which was not there at the time, which I think maybe he could have left him out. I think David Brooks would not have followed suit. Once Dean died, I think this is my opinion. I think it would have been, he would have parted ways and probably went back with his parents, but who knows? But still, he's still guilty. He still needs to be punished. The information Elmer gave them was able to find so many bodies, and finally had to stop looking because of the embarrassment of they continued looking, but the embarrassment will happen as long as it did, and numbers was so high, being the highest at times of mass murders. And like I said, then they started looking at some of these names and saw, they started identifying the bodies, and saw that every single one of these, pretty much all these bodies, was also considered a runaway, that the Houston Police Officer Department kind of just ignored and avoided talking about a runaway, but they were actually missing. So we will never know how many fell to Dean and his two minions, but 28 was reported, 27 identified, but many of the murders in Houston was thought to be done by Dean. But since he was killed, we will never know the magnitude of what he did. Of course, Dean did not live to pay for these crimes, but David and Elmer both were sentenced to life in prison, where they still are today, in their 60s, trying to get parole. So there's my short on Dean Corll, the Candyman of Houston, the Houston mass murder. And I already had somebody tell me that these were some sick fuckers on social media, which they are. This is crazy that this happened. This is while the time that my wife's from Houston, so she wasn't born when this happened, but she has an uncle, which eventually I will cover, Dennis Douthat. So this, hell, he could have been, responsible for some of these burners. I don't know. But anyhow, if you like what you hear today, well, not heard but the story that I told you, go ahead and rate and review on iTunes. But mainly, I would love for you to just share me on social media, tell friends, tell people about this podcast. Let this thing grow. Also, I have a YouTube channel at Trucks Murder and True Crime, Facebook channel Trucks Murder and True Crime Podcast, Instagram, which I told you I'm gonna try to go live every Saturday at noon. And it's Truck Stop Murder and True Crime. Twitter at Truck Murder. And I have a Patreon and a PayPal, both at Truck Stop Murder. Well, Truck Stop Murder for my Patreon, and Gmail is truckstopmurder@gmail.com. And that's also my PayPal. So if you want to help me or buy me a cup of coffee, it's buymeacupofcoffee.com at Truck Stop Murder. That would be amazing. And with that, that's my short for Monday. And I'm on my way home. Hopefully soon, get these two tires fixed, see what happens. I know Sam's is alive on loan and they're pretty anal about their appointment times. Well, we'll see. And as always, you can't fix stupid, like I say, but you sure can numb it with a 2x4. I am out of here.